All right, and it looks like we're live. So we'll give it a second here. Whoop, it's okay. Right. Bottles everywhere. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I've got my I've got the video up on the other screen. Okay. Sorry, everybody, about that. Now we're good. Oh, hold on. Let me get the chat box up so I can make sure anybody sees or says something. Thank you for joining us. Before we kick this off real quick, I'm going to make sure we got all our stuff set up here. And then I'll do some quick introductions. All right, so everybody, thank you for joining us. This is going to be Bourbon Pursuit's newest barrel pick, right? And before we kind of talk about what the whiskey is, I want to introduce the two gentlemen that are sitting on either side of me, right? So first here on my right is the guy that I've introduced or talked about on the podcast quite a few times. He is the proprietor, the owner of Keg and Bottle out of San Diego, SoCal, California. So this is Tony Konja. He's here to celebrate the, tell everybody what you're here for, right?
Here just to have a good time and drink a bunch of bourbon, but the kind folks at Four Roses are hosting us and been spending the last couple of days drinking, having a good time and touring the distillery and taking a look at the barrel that we're doing for the barrel pick for that. So and tonight we're going to go to the gala and we're going to have a great time and spend some good time with a bunch of great folks.
Yeah, so he's here for Bourbon Festival, but then also we've got Sam. I'm going to screw it up because I said Kamel earlier and it's like Kamel or something like that. So go ahead and tell people who you are.
So here you go. This is Sam from San Diego too. Work for Wine Warehouse, and this second years in a row in Kentucky, just for the Bourbon Festival, enjoying it and having some fun.
Absolutely. And so they're here sponsored by Four Roses, but we're not picking a Four Roses barrel today, are we?
Not today, even though that's all we've been drinking for the last several days. So got that on our palate just a little bit.
Exactly. But the cool thing about kind of how this worked, so I knew Tony was coming down and kind of like it happened last minute. He's like, hey, do you want to do a WhistlePig pick? And I was like, yes. And he goes, okay, let me make a phone call. And literally these showed up via the FedEx truck not more than 10 minutes before I was supposed to go pick them up. So these were overnighted from San Diego and California area. But the cool thing about this is that, if anybody that listened to this past week's podcast, we talked about the, I guess the idea of private barrel picks and sort of what happens, and Tony kind of sees this firsthand as well, is that when you don't necessarily get to go to the distillery, and if you're familiar with WhistlePig, it's in the Vermont area, if I'm not.
That is correct.
So it's out of Vermont. So of course we're not gonna be able to pick up and go to Vermont today. So typically what they'll do is they'll send out samples. They come in these bottles, and you kind of have to go through them. However, one thing that is pretty unique about what we get to do here is that we are the first ones to go choose from any of these 5 barrels. And that means that once we choose ours, and this barrel, whatever we choose, that means the next 4 samples are going off to the next store. So we are number 1 on the list. We're the first ones to hit this. So honored that we can actually do that and make sure that we are getting the cream of the crop here, I guess. You're right.
Sure. So shout out to Laura for making that happen from WhistlePig and to bring it out on short notice. I said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And she goes, I will make it happen. And so shout out to her for pulling that off and getting me the samples just in time, as we say.
Absolutely, right? Yep. Just in time bourbon shipping. So I guess let's go ahead. Let's get it cracking here. So if everybody wants to grab a glass, let's see if we can. Let's see. I'm going to get a piece of paper here as well, and I'm going to make sure that we number all these correctly too, so we don't go through and we're like, which one was this one? Which one was that one? Right. So we'll do that first. So. Apologize everybody for just like sitting around watching me tear off tape over here. You want to take a few?
I will make.
All right, you
become a little more efficient,
buddy.
There you go. You take that one. There we go.
Last one. I think we got one more to go right here.
It's kind of what my wife says. She says teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
So,
great. Got the pen.
So we got that. So I guess the bigger question is, so this isn't going to be barrel proof, right? It's going to be, is it going to be bottled at whatever their standard is.
So
which I can go grab a bottle real quick, and I'll know.
So I think it is going to be barrel proof, because if you look at these, each of these proofs are 116.6, 110.3,
110, 118, 117.
It's telling us the exact barrel. What's really special that Laura told me about these is the first time she's seen where they all the ages were 13-year age barrels. So pretty excited about cracking these open and seeing what we've got on our hands here.
Absolutely. And since we've got 5 of these, there's way too many Glencairns to make this happen. So we're just gonna have to do it like one at a time here. So I'll put number 1 on here, and we will grab a glass, and I guess we'll start pouring here, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, hear that fresh crack seal right there? There we go. That's when you know it's you're the first ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you need more.
There you go.
No. We've got a lot of drinking ahead of us today.
Smelling great so far.
Glad to see we got 16 viewers aren't doing anything else on a Saturday, just to maybe catch some college football and watch us drink whiskey on YouTube. Right?
Yeah, we were just watching college football, waiting to do this. So good to see Kentucky's winning.
Yeah, right.
Support the local team.
Good timing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So this first one we're drinking, it's probably going to be kind of hard to see, but this is a 118.8 proof, age 13 years. And if somebody in chat wants to look, I'm not too sure if these are, and you can check and see if WhistlePig, their standard single barrel offerings, if they do come out barrel proof. I can't remember if they do, or if they proof them down. So if somebody wants to go and check on that, and we'll look in the chat real quick. If you got a bottle sitting around, you can tell me what proof it is, and we'll know. And the other thing is what Laura was saying. She said, I've tried all these already, and they're all fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a good thing, right? We won't have to find a bad one. Have you guys been drinking already today?
No.
So this is
Although
we're basically just
Yes.
we're putting, there's no lube, we're just going in barrel proof, like
Barrel
just
proof straight up. Yep.
So this is not farm stock. This is just going to be regular rye.
Regular rye.
Okay, so Jonathan's got one that says it's 119.5. So that leads me to believe that these are going to be bottled at barrel proof, which is what we want anyway, right? So it's great.
It's exactly what we want.
It's their sourced rye, which of course it's going to be sourced rye, especially if it's 13 year.
Picking up some sweet notes off the front end on the nose.
Pretty spicy, but it's also going 118 on the first one here.
It coats really nicely, huh?
It does. I think it falls a little bit apart on the back.
I would say a little bit. It's still going a little bit, but a little softer finish.
Like I said, I think it kind of just it was there, but then it kind of just fell apart. But then again, like I said, I'm just kind of warming up my taste buds here too.
What was our? So for me, that's not tasting 118 proof though.
Yeah,
I mean,
smooth.
for being 118,
Right.
I would be thinking it might be a little bigger, a little bolder than that. So it's very smooth from that perspective.
And this is barrel number 2341 as well. And Brews and Bourbon asked, not cask finish. That is correct. This is not a cask finish. So this is just a straight barrel proof rye whiskey. And it's one thing that we don't get to see whether this is sourced. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of their stuff is sourced from Canada right now too. So
you've got great eyes to be able to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's good.
Let's see.
All right, I'll hold on to that one a little bit.
Yep.
I think that was it's a good start. I'm not going to say that's maybe the best one, but who knows? We got.
Let's see.
Know.
We got to revisit.
Yeah,
we got 4 more to go
Yep.
through. And if you guys want, here's if you need to write down notes or something like that, feel free. I've got my Castle and Key one, and then I got my Maker's Mark boxes or things over here. So we'll make a few notes here. Feel free to write down wherever you want. There's nothing important there. I keep the little black book upstairs. Nah, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so number 1. I'm going to put a B+ on that one. I liked it. I still need to probably like I said, it's the first one. You got to go back. Got to try some other ones here. So.
100%.
I mean, it's very easy drinking for like 118 proof. It's just like go smooth.
Yep. And that's what I was thinking. Like, should we do it blind and not see the proofs? But I think it's going to be too much effort. So
because there's so many.
There's so many.
And there's 3 of us.
There's so many. Why not? Right.
Yep.
So, all right. Let's go with number 2 here. So I'm going to write number 2 down. And so this next one we're going to do is going to be 110.3. Again, all 13 years of age. So get a little bit closer to the camera, might be able to see it. I don't know if it's going to focus on it, but that's kind of what we get. Let's hear that fresh crack real quick.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to grab a second one.
Grab a second glass. Sam, there's all kinds of glasses over here.
Got one right here.
Sweet. You're a good man.
Like if there's anything we got around here, I've
got some Glencairns.
I've got glassware for days.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Right here.
I'll be stealing some of these on my way back to San Diego. So.
Which we got to get you hooked up with that. We still got to get the Bourbon Pursuit glassware on Keg and Bottles website. So we're working on that.
We're working on the order for that.
The nose is, I think.
Oh, it's strong.
I like it. I like this one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe number 1 just kind of lubed me up a little bit, but this one just has it's got that great all around kind of fruity nose.
The typical caramel.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's just solid bourbon or solid rye right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the color
too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It was like
nice color.
the color on it, I think is great for the 110 as well. Not too sure if y'all can see that or not, but Canadian source from Alberta, definitely a 95.5. That's
I just
appreciate it.
I just put the colors. This one is a little darker. I would say probably maybe two points maybe higher on the darkness scale between the first one and the second one.
I never worked at Porter Paint, so I couldn't tell you what that's like.
So let me tell you,
I'll take
2
your word for it.
2 shades darker.
2 shades. There we go.
So this is barrel number 2469. 55.15, 110 proof. Number 2. Let's go in.
Yep. Definitely. It feels like it's a lot more, maybe the colors get in my head, but you kind of get a little more of that oaky, leathery kind of to it. The mouth feel is still a little there. It's like you said before, it still coats pretty well, at least because it's my second drink it does. However, the finish isn't around forever, right?
No,
I think it dissipates just a little bit more than I'd like, but
getting some more nuttiness in this one than the first one.
I don't know if you get some vanilla in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said,
it's a typical true to.
I think this is, like I said, you wouldn't be unhappy with this one because it's just solid, right? It's just solid. But it's nothing that's for me that I think the noses. Go back to the first one.
The nose. If we graded the first one as a B+, I say that this would be maybe like an A- on the nose end.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I would say probably a notch higher on the finish as well. For me. I don't want to push you in the.
No. It's a team effort here. So
let me take some notes on that. So we're using. For me, I'm going to use that first one as a base to say whether my finish is longer or shorter.
Yep.
And definitely a little longer finish, but not.
Yeah, like I said, the finish still wasn't all the way there for me, but I still think it's not bad, right?
And what I'm thinking too, and we may want to do this on the way back if we revisit, is maybe a drop of water in there to see how it's going to, for some of our customers that love, to put a cube in there or for some water to open it up to see how it might hold up,
No,
because sometimes that's for me. The deciding point between one pick and another is how it holds up, because we got to think about our friends that don't drink it neat.
All right. All right. Put in the chat if you would not drink this neat, or if you think you're going to put some ice cube or water in there. Be a good pull. Because for me, I'm gonna always be a straight, neat whiskey drinker, right? I think that's my
that's kind of my style too.
That's my MO. But there are times I will say, like I got a private pick of a Maker's 46 up there, and it shines more when you put just a little bit of water in it. So,
but see, we don't want to have a pick either that when someone does put a cube, because ultimately someone will. Not guys like maybe us, but you know.
Well, you got to know who this is.
You got to know who it's going to, and,
Yeah.
and we don't always buy for what fits my palate. I buy for what fits your palate, because ultimately you're the customer. So.
Yeah, but this is going to go to 300 Patreon supporters, and you know these are all whiskey geeks, so they.
Yeah, they're probably. I'd be interested to see how many of you say with or without ice. Let's see.
Probably neat. Probably.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So this next one. So this is barrel 2362 for anybody that's out there keeping notes. Probably not, but this one is 117.7. If you're just now joining us, one thing that is unique about all this is that these are all 13-year rye whiskeys. As we were kind of saying before, let's try to elevate it a little bit if you can see it. So these are all 13-year rye whiskeys, Alberta, Canada sourced. And we're choosing a barrel for Bourbon Pursuit, keg and bottle.
This is the third sample.
The nose actually reminds me a lot of number 2.
Yep. Very similar.
But this one's also going to be 7 proof points higher than number 2.
See, we got Andrew going with a single ice cube.
Single ice cube.
See, I'm thinking about you, Andrew.
Oh, so did John. John said single ice cube too. Yeah, I guess people that are out there listening, if you've got a lot of experience drinking WhistlePig, go ahead and put it in there. I think it'd be good to kind of understand your notes, because for me, I've got 1 bottle of it. I'm not a huge. I haven't gone out and tried buying a lot of single barrel picks or anything like that. But then when this opportunity came up, I couldn't say no. So it'd be interesting to kind of understand what you all, what you think of, the single barrel picks and stuff like that, and see where we're gonna stack up in this.
Yep. So I'm a big fan of really all that WhistlePig does. So I've been buying their stuff very early on, from the small stuff all the way up to the Boss Hog, and they outdo each other with everyone. So I'm really excited to do this and have a barrel of this. So,
but also while we're going through this, Tony, I think it'd be good to kind of get your take on, because I know we've got a few people in California, but we kind of got hooked up through the podcast and doing through all this. So kind of give people an idea of like what bourbon is like in San Diego and SoCal right now. Like, do you see an uptick? Tony was actually gracious enough to give me some stuff that's from local San Diego distilleries. So there's some local pride that's happening as well. So kind of give people
100%.
an idea about sort of what's happening in the whiskey world right now in SoCal.
So similar to what's going on, I would say nationwide as I read and see, but it's quite the phenomenon. So from a retailer's perspective, that's our hottest category. That's our space to sales keeps increasing. So our vodka section is decreasing. I think Fred would be pretty happy about that. But the bourbon's on fire. So people are trying to get their hands on anything and everything. And it's awesome to have someone new come in and you help them walk them through your everyday stuff and showing them items that, hey, this is a good place to start. Because you don't want to put them into maybe a barrel proof that's just going to wreck their palate from day one. And we'll start them with our everyday stuff that's, $20, $30 a bottle, and then move them up from there and get them into some other specialty stuff. And then you have your guys that are your bottle collectors and know what they're talking about and looking for all the specialty releases that are hard to get. And so, it's pretty hot. And so we do that. We've got a program for those people as well, where we can get them into those bottles, and we give away a bottle every month at MSRP instead of the secondary market pricing, and so there's a program for them as well. But I'm a big fan of, and I know maybe nationwide this isn't happening, but in San Diego, we have 14 local distilleries now. And so I'm a big fan of helping out the small guy, because I was a very small guy, still am really, but you know,
I don't think you're small. You got 9 stores, right? I mean, that's bigger than most. So.
But, you know, it's a family business. We started off with one, with my, you know, mom and dad, my 2 brothers and my sister. And, you know, with hard work and persistence over the last 35 years, we've grown it that way. So a lot of blessings from God up above to bestow upon us some of his kindness and generosity. And we were able to grow this, you know.
That's
so
awesome.
And these San Diego distilleries, the stuff I brought you, is great stuff. You know, great stuff. And we'll maybe pull out a bottle to show everybody. But they are doing a great job, and you can come into our stores or our websites and find really local craft stuff that's done the old-fashioned way. You know, and I'm excited about those as well.
Absolutely.
So back to number 3, which all of you are excited about.
That's what. So Sam, we were kind of talking a little bit on the side here. He says he thinks it's a little hot. I kind of agree with it.
Yep.
However, I think it also has a lot of that like oomph that the whiskey geeks love, right?
Correct.
So it's got some of that kind of like that fire behind it. So I think, in my opinion, I like number 3 the most so far.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it's between that and 2 if we had to choose between 3 barrels. But thankfully, we have 5, so we're going to choose through 5 barrels. So right now, that's in my lead.
I'm with you as well. So to finish off with that particular one, I think the finish is stronger, bolder, has those notes that we're all look for. You know, the chewiness,
and the fact that
nice color as well. Like, you know, so far it's just nice color and long finish.
The thing is that the nose was just the same that I liked on 2, so it's kind of like a win-win right there. So it was apple didn't fall far from the tree, I guess, or the barrels were placed too close to. I think of another euphemism for it, right? So
yeah. So I'm with you on that one. So I'm going to create that.
Water or is that your water? I can't remember.
I can't tell.
I think that was mine.
There you go, buddy.
And then you can have a fresh one.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So number 3. I'm writing strong, bold.
Don't you love it how there's 27 people here while they're watching this, and they're just like, hey, let's watch a few guys drink whiskey in the middle of the day. And
Matt says, get the fire. So right now we're on 3. We're with you, Matt. Fire is where it's at. That one was definitely fire.
Even after the water, keep.
It's still going, huh?
Yeah, still there. Still.
I'm with you. So it's lingering. So that's a great way to go. So off to number 4.
Yep, here we go.
Get the pen.
So excited.
This one's 113.
Yep.
It is, if you're counting or writing, it's barrel number 2343, straight rye, 13 year as well. Let's see if this is a freshie.
Oh
yeah, that's a big pop, baby.
That's a fresh crack right there.
Let's see.
For you, Sammy?
Get one of those. I'll get some
Oh, there you go. You're fine.
There you go.
You get is that the Heaven Hill one, or is that
actually
Whiskey Museum? So I got that Glencairn when I went to Ireland a few years ago and got a chance to go to the Irish Whiskey Museum over there, and that was part of my send off package.
So we'll get them. I'll turn this around for them.
It's like I'm gonna get a little bit more in there, so I get my nose all up in it.
I was trying to be gentle. I didn't want to throw you under the bus this early.
Nah, we're good.
5 o'clock.
I was like, somewhere. I've got the rest of the day with me. So
yep. So that's number 4.
Yep. I like the nose. It's reminiscent of 3 and 4, but not as prominent. Or sorry, 2 and 3, but not as prominent. I think it's got a little bit more like pecans or something that's like
maybe cinnamon.
This is one thing, by the way. This is why we usually like never do a bunch of like whiskey reviews, because I'm not good at my vocabulary of like figuring this stuff out. Like I need to get like a flavor wheel and always look at it. Like, oh yeah, orange marmalade. I get it now, right?
Yeah, but I think when we do it this way, I mean, putting them up against each other. What's nice about this is they're very similar, and they're, you know, like we said, 2 of them are very bold and stand out completely. And so regardless of sometimes I watch some of those guys that are doing those reviews, and I kind of chuckle and laugh at some of the words they use because I'm like, where'd you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Like the marzipan one.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's a Fred favorite right there. All right, so this one tastes like a rye whiskey. Like I get that dill, I get that piney kind of taste to it.
Yep. Picking up the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Also coats very nicely, so we're getting that viscosity. That oily.
Oh yeah. I think this one might take my new favorite only because it actually drinks like an actual rye. The one before, it didn't seem like I didn't get a lot of those like big like pine notes out of it, right? Like when I think of something that is supposed to be a rye but tastes like a bourbon, I think of like the Booker's rye, and you have it and you're kind of like, I didn't think that was a rye. And that's kind of like the first three. I was like, I didn't get a whole lot of that piney, dilly kind of flavor out of it, but this one I do, and so I kind of enjoy it a little bit. So Jeremy says it's a rye pick. I like it already.
Yeah, that's definitely true to rye.
Okay, maybe it's not my favorite, but I think between 3 and 4, it's a good face off. Only because, like I said, I like the flavor of 3. However, 4 just has that more rye characteristic that I think that people may or may not expect. So I don't know. What would go ahead and chat if you'd rather have a Booker's Rye-esque, right? That doesn't taste so much of a rye, but tastes more like a bourbon, or you want something that's like, it's a rye, it's in your face, it's got that dill, right? It's got that sort of pine taste to it. Then it'd be good to kind of know what you all sort of like too.
Yeah, this one's more remind me of the Kentucky Owl rye, to be honest with you. I'm picking up those same characteristics that we had with that last year.
Absolutely.
Which, as we all agreed, was very good.
Most people thought last year's Kentucky Owl was a hit. I think I haven't had a chance to try the next batch that came out, and then
nor I.
Not only that is I don't know if I'll get around to getting a bourbon either, because those prices are going.
They're going up.
They're going up.
They're going up. Yeah, so I think
when was approved on that number 4.
What
was it?
4 was sitting right at 113.
113. So right there in the
113.1.
Yep.
So.
Here.
Kenny, what do you think we're doing on a face-off? Are we doing top 2 or top 3?
Top 2.
Top 2.
I think we should narrow it down to 2.
So right now, 3 and 4 is my top 2.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
I mean, I still love the.
I'm getting bold. I'm getting cinnamon. Strong finish.
Go ahead. Start number 5. So we don't kill the feed. I need to run upstairs and go get the charger for the laptop real quick, because I see 7% battery. So I need to fix that.
You go handle that.
Yep.
And I'll take this time to make number 5 happen. So
talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, we shall. So if you have any questions, guys, for me on the retail side, I'd be happy to answer those. So like you said, we're from Keg and Bottle. Sam's from Wine Warehouse, which is our supplier, one of our suppliers, and has a ton of liquor experience. Was the #1 salesman last year for them in Southern California. So good job on that.
Thank you.
And so number 5 is right here, and this is 116.6. This is barrel number 2360. Also 13-year, like we discussed. And it is color-wise looking right in line with number 3 that we like the color of.
All right.
And there you go, my friend.
See, you could start your own podcast. You don't need me here.
I could, but it's not good to recreate the wheel when someone's doing a good job. And let me tell you what. In reaching out to Kenny, it was after watching everything that's out there, and I was like, this is the guy, And so kudos to you,
there you go.
of what you've done and out there for the whole bourbon community and bringing on real, some of these guys do their thing with doing what we're doing right now, but it's so subjective.
Oh,
right?
It really is. That's why we've, I think we might get into more like some reviews and stuff like that because people dig it, right? It's for some odd reason, that's what people dig. And at this point, I hate saying it, but like the word influencer comes out every once in a while, right? They're like, you're an influencer. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have to actually start memorizing a tasting note wheel at some point.
But that's why people respect it, because you're going to tell them when it's not good. And from a retail standpoint, that's why people respect what I recommend as well, because I have no allegiances to anybody. If I sell you a Buffalo Trace item or a Heaven Hill item, I still make my money. So I'm going to sell you the best item, the biggest bang for your buck. That's going to
make you come back.
Make you come, absolutely, Sam. Yeah, make you come back and ask me for my next recommendation. So with that, number 5.
Yep, number 5 here. So
I think it's going to be a surprise.
You think so?
Smells very good.
The nose is a lot different on this one for me.
Yes.
It almost tastes, I don't want to say young, but there's definitely there's an there's just something off that's about the nose that's not like something that's just like, oh yeah,
you're
like
right.
it's not caramel leather or whatever. There's hot dog water. No, I'm just kidding. It's not hot dog water.
Lackluster.
Let's see. Try it.
I wouldn't say lackluster, but there's something weird there. That's just like this is why we don't do a whole lot of reviews, is because we can't figure out the words that come to the head here.
This is good.
This one I think has the longest finish.
I'm actually picking up maybe some citrus notes, maybe some orange,
right?
Orange,
Curacao,
Curacao. Anybody that listens, that I messed that one up.
Never felt,
but I'm kind of polarized on this one a little bit. So Brews and Bourbon says always pick something a little bit off profile because it's always an outstanding representation of its style. Uniqueness is what we're all after. So that's
what I thought was going to be a surprise from the beginning. It's like something weird about it.
Old MGP rise. There's definitely that. I did talk to Laura about this a little bit with what WhistlePig's plan is in the future, because they've been producing their own juice and they're going to start doing some blends here in the near future. So it'll go, I want to say year 1 will be 10% blend, year 2 20%, something to that effect, where they're going to be starting to blend and phase out the MGP juice until they will have a whole series, is what they're thinking about doing. So that'll be very interesting to see and be able to put those against another and see how they fare.
Right.
That's a big thing out there right now, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like,
on the phase out period.
Because we talked to Dave Pickerel about that on a podcast, and here's an inside scoop about doing these podcasts. People are always like, "Oh, you remember that one episode where this one thing and you said this?" I'm like, "No, I don't remember. I don't remember a thing. I've got a horrible memory. B, there's like it's this constant go, and so it's while you're in the conversation, you never really remember it because while you're trying to listen to somebody, you're also thinking of the next question to ask as you're sitting there trying to listen to them talk. You're thinking of like, okay, well, I'll try to build off this, right? So,
no, I'm with you on that.
I just sniffed the water because
that's what we do.
Because that's what we do. I was like, oh. It's like, wait a second, I'm supposed to drink this real quick. All right, so I know we said we're going to narrow it down to 2, but it might have to be 3.
Might have to be 3, 4, 5.
I think so too. I think we should revisit 1 only because it was like
super
out of the gate, like just to go and just figure out like, is this one worth eliminating? Right. I think number 2 is probably worth eliminating only because, we had passed 1. We were like, oh, 2's got a great nose. And then 3's like, oh,
but it didn't stand
pretty
out.
Damn close.
Didn't stand out.
Nothing was.
I think we take that off the table right now.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, we can take 2 off.
So here's what's going to happen. Say goodbye.
Yep.
2's gone.
So you'll find that at another retail outlet somewhere in San Diego.
I won't tell you where. We'll find out.
So Jeremy asked, are WhistlePig picks proof down into what proof? So we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and we were trying to figure it out for ourselves because I've only got one single barrel pick of WhistlePig, and people had started chiming in because I had asked the question, and it's going to be bottled with barrel proof, right? So it's great. That's what everybody loves. And so thank you to everybody that did comment and actually gave us an idea of educating us to what this barrel is actually going to be like, right? So, Right. We'll keep 5 up there.
I'm going to ask Laura that question.
Only because of the finish.
The finish, exactly. You
Only
don't
'cause of
feel
the
it in the
finish.
front palate, but when it goes down, just like, you know, it's big.
Mm-hmm. It also lingers around a little bit more than I think almost every other one. And so I think when you're trying to find something that, you know, you're enjoying on the back patio or having a cigar or doing whatever, and you're just relaxing with it, like I think like that's the ambiance I want to get out of it, right? It's not a you know, down at the bar at 2 a.m. trying to sip something and whatever, right? That's not what I'm getting out of what I'm trying to find here. And I think 5 encapsulates that essentially with the finish of it. So go ahead and write that down, and then I think we'll do a 3-way. Like I said, I think 3, 4, 5 is the way to go.
5, yeah.
Like I said, so
let's revisit one just
to
Be fair.
Well, it'd be fair.
To be fair, I like that, Sam. You're a nice guy.
And you know, it's more whiskey we can drink, so we can't say no to that.
And all of our buddies are drinking right now without us, so we got to catch up.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got 2 limo buses full of Four Roses guys that we got to catch up to.
Yeah. So you want to,
that
for anybody that's now joining us, you want to tell everybody that what you're up to tonight?
Yeah. So tonight, guys, we're pretty excited going to the gala,
Here's
and
number 1.
we will
If you
be
remember which one
I
it was.
don't-
hobnobbing with some
So-
really
Yeah,
cool
let's see.
people in the whole Kentucky
This,
bourbon
whatever.
scene, and drinking and dancing and just enjoying
number 1.
Kentucky. So
There's number 1.
here's number 1. Thank you, sir.
I know, and it was great that this all happened. You know, Tony and I, we've been talking over the phone for the past 3 months, something like that, and then it's like you get to meet your internet friends, right? Like,
Yeah.
So
here we are. Here we are. Good thing he's not a psycho. 'Cause,
I know, right?
You know, Mama always said, "Be careful of those internet guys."
Yeah, right.
We're in his basement though. It's kind of
It
scary. He
is
took me
true.
down to his basement.
I said, hey guys, let's get to our basement. You got to check it out.
I said, "Bro, we're gonna do this in our hotel." He's like, "No, let's go back to my house."
I was like,
So it was kinda-
but it's cool. I mean, like we get an opportunity. So we've got some documentation of like this actually happened. We are involving our community and with this
Absolutely.
as well. So
I think we stick with 3, 4, and 5. You know, this is
well, Sam, that's right out of the gate, man. You didn't give it a chance.
Yeah, you didn't even. Let's see what people are saying here.
So barrel proof rye would be sweet. Not so many. Let's see. You're talking about farm stock. Somebody
Yeah.
likes crop 2 better than 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell you what, this tastes different now.
I think honestly it tastes closer to 4.
Yeah.
You get that dill that's
Am I right?
Mhm.
So we had a very.
well, I mean, like I said, it was the first one out of the gate.
Yeah.
You didn't really know what to expect.
Oh, let me get some more going.
And this one is 118. So I think this is the highest proof of all of them, if
Mhm.
I remember correctly.
And it's
Which-
tasting more similar to the rye profile, I would say, maybe that we were talking about.
Absolutely.
I think that was 4. Let me go back to
Yeah.
my notes. 4
I
was
think-
the one that was the rye profile, and 5 was our more outside the box.
And 3 was
Yeah.
kind of like for me, I think we'll go back to it, but it had that Booker's rye-esque that it tastes more maybe like a bourbon rather than a rye. Like you didn't get a whole lot of that, those pine notes or whatever it is that you typically get with a rye whiskey.
So now this is interesting. So now this is lingering, lasting a lot longer, Sam, than the first one. My notes originally on this said light short finish, and I'm not getting a light short finish now.
It's not as I still think it's not as. I don't think it lasts as much as it did. We're also at this point 5 now. We're 6 6 drinks into it, but I see where you're coming from. I still think the good thing is we've got these, so we can at least hit these ones one more time, and I think we'll be able to come away with something. I still don't think number one's not a throwaway. No. All right, I don't think it's a throwaway yet. Only because, like I said, it's slow. It resembles number 4 in the taste profile.
Yep. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what a close friend of mine in San Diego has taught me when we do our barrel picks and our tastings together. And I think you know Randy.
Yep.
So he likes doing the push-pull method. So we push it forward, push it, pull it back, and see what happens. So we're going to pull number 2 down, which we already did. So I'm going to get that sample away. And let's go through and see which one goes to the next round and just keep
absolutely
do round after round and see if we can get rid of them.
At this point, yeah, we have to.
We do.
We're running on like 30 minutes here.
All right, let's go.
So
let's make it happen.
All right.
So number 3.
Yeah, let's move number 3 here. Go ahead if you know which glass was yours.
Yep, I do. I have mine in that perfect order. Unless you want me to report for you.
We're gonna have to report because
I'll report.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create my own blend while we're at it.
Attaboy. And then we'll see if Laura can get us a blend of small batch.
Like
can we get a small batch of number 3 and 4?
We'll just take 3 and 4, mix them together, and that'll be our barrels.
Yep.
We'll buy both.
That would be awesome. Do
You
know which one's which?
No, but I'll just make sure.
Okay.
Another one.
There we go. You're a good man. Where's your blend?
That's over there. You're good.
No, we're good. No worries. Make sure he's got a clean glass. There you go.
See, we're doing it right over here, right? We're not.
I'm good.
Well, that's mine.
Yours. No,
this is mine?
Oh, okay.
Yours.
I've got mine.
Right there.
I have got mine. So this is number 3, everybody.
Number 3 again.
117 proof.
So second time around.
So nice color.
So if anybody wants to get real close on it.
Ooh, someone wants to know about legs. So
it's got some viscosity. It's got some.
I
would think. I don't know about legs on this one. It's more like a. I don't know. You go to New York City and you see a homeless person like run and like jump in front of your car and like splash a bunch of liquid on it. Like that's what it looks like, right? Like it's not like dripping down at any point. It's just like a bunch of liquid that just gets like caked to it, and then somebody's got to take a squeegee to it, right? So that's my analogy. That might not be so PC, but
yeah, I'm not seeing any tremendous legs like typically we would see. Wow, number 1 probably has best legs, guys. The one that we were
thinking about eliminating.
Yeah. So if we're based on legs, number 1 wins. So who was that? Was that Matt? Matt, we're gonna have to buy the barrel just for you for number 1.
There you go.
You willing to do 200 bottles of that on your own, Matt?
I'm sure. Honestly, we could probably buy 2 barrels. We'll be all right.
Yeah, I should probably ask Laura. Oh, by the way, I did ask Laura about the barrel proof question, and she just replied and said, yes, it is going to be bottled at these proofs, so it is, not going to be watered down at all. Who was that asked that question earlier? Whoever it was, it's being bottled at barrel proof. So, who else is there?
I still like 3. Just going through it again.
Yeah,
the nose is there.
Brett, you're absolutely right. And that was what Laura had said. She has not seen 13-year-old barrels out there. So she was excited about getting these in front of me. And honestly, so we're having a hard time with this because these are actually really good choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited to narrow this down. But
if we need to buy 2, we'll ask and see if we can buy 2.
We'll see if she can and
make it happen.
If Laura, if you're on, you can reply to the chat and opine a little bit, especially if you have these samples with you. It'd be interesting to see what you have to say.
It's funny, like now that going back to 3, like I thought it was more like bourbon-esque, but after going through them and actually starting back over, I get some pine notes, I get some dill notes, I get some of those standard rye notes, but it's not as prominent. They're still hidden behind the the caramel, the vanillas, the
Mhm.
taste like a bourbon flavors. So
Yeah, but I think, and correct me if anyone's out there would like to throw their 2 cents, is I think we really want to find something that's rye, more that's going to stay true to the rye, and maybe outside the box. It's not your everyday rye.
absolutely.
So I think that's where you're going to want us to go.
Hmm.
You see that one?
Which one? The Cotton Creek or the? Oh, I've seen 13+-year-olds. What are they? Are they pulling your leg? Well, I'm just saying they were doing 13-year-olds, but they haven't done more of them in a while. So
yeah, for the barrel program, they haven't been doing. To clarify,
yeah, like
for the barrel program, they haven't been putting out 13-year-olds.
Yeah, I've got one in the back that's a 10-year, I think, like that, and that came out last year. So
yeah, so very kind of them to share these ones with us. So I think I got my notes on 3.
where do you think it ranks against number 1?
So against number 1, if we add the legs component to it, one just took a notch up.
There we go.
To keep Matt happy over there, right? It's I'd probably say it's still probably ahead of number 1, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it's drinking more like a bourbon to me than a rye.
Mm-hmm. What, number 1 or number 3? Number 3. Yeah. I think it does too, which isn't a bad thing.
No,
it's not a bad thing. Like I said, you've got subtle rye characteristics with it. It's not very prominent. It's not in front of your face.
Yep.
But I don't mind it, right? I still think it's pretty good.
No, and I think if we've got to go to 2, maybe Laura, if you're listening, actually let me text her and see what the possibilities are.
Well, we'll come with a first and a runner-up, and we'll be like, well, can we get the runner-up too? And then she'll be like, okay, like take my, I'll take your money. Yeah.
I could. From a financial perspective, guys, this is no joke, right?
Oh yeah, because these are, I mean, they're what, MSRP $90-$100, something like that.
Oh yeah.
So
WhistlePig is not an inexpensive one,
right?
And we just got the bottle count for the Blanton's barrel that we got, and we're ending up with about 244 bottles.
That's actually a pretty good yield.
Great yield.
Oh my gosh, that's actually amazing.
Yeah. So. So if you did that, you're looking at 500. This would probably be, with this being 13-year-old, it's going to be a lot less than that. But So
well, I think I think we've got enough supporters out there. We've got 350 plus, and so if they wanted one from each barrel, they're going to want to do it.
What we may want to do is get the anomaly that's tasting unique, right, and then the best one that's
kind of like a little bit on profile
for the rye, and then now we've got 2 completely different profiles.
I'm with you.
Correct.
So I think that might be the ticket, and that way each group, who was it that wanted the ice cube, on that one, that'll open up, and maybe we should do a drop or 2 to see, and that could be our deciding factor as well when we narrow it down to 2, or 3.
All right, let's go ahead and let's move on. So back to number 4. So we'll go ahead and just do this real quick. Number 4, do you remember?
Yes.
Oh, now you got them in order. All right, I'll let you. You need some more?
Let's see, just to make sure.
Sam's working on his own blend.
Yeah, no, he was like, just to make sure.
Just to make sure.
We'll do that.
And thank you for sending the large samples, by the way, Laura. Sometimes when we do these, they'll send us this. It's a little hard to share this amongst friends.
Yeah, right.
So appreciate you sending the 200 ml.
Good.
So
again, again, the nose is like 3 again.
This is number 4 at 100.
But then again, maybe I'm
113 proof.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just getting nose
fatigue.
Nose fatigue, is that a thing?
So, on the palate, this is hot.
Yeah, I think 4 is out.
Yeah,
At first, I was kind of like, this is great. It's got a good punch. It's got the fire.
Yeah.
But then when we went back to 3, you chase this one. Yeah. It doesn't have that
complexity.
Well, there's a little bit there, but I think it's also like a little bit like you kind of like squeeze your cheeks, like you're like, right?
Mhm.
Like it's yeah, I think it's, as somebody said, it's got a little of that fire underneath of it. And I think that's something that you're going to get with like 1792 Foolproof and some other ones. But I think when we have the choice here of being able to choose something that's like a little more delicate, a little more balanced, I don't think that's the way to go.
Yep.
So I think this one might be a pullback.
Do we agree?
Sam,
do you agree? Pull it off the table.
We got a two vote over here.
Two vote, but we'd like to be unanimous.
I kind of agree because we're looking for something unique, and now we have 3 and 5. So
we still have one in there. I saw on my set down here. I still have 1, 3, and 5. So let's pull that one back and move to 5 and revisit that. I'm excited to revisit.
Yeah.
Cinco.
Honestly, number 4, it's one of the only ones that I feel on my nose. Like after when I drink it, you feel it in your nose. Like that's how.
Number 4 is very good. It's just like nothing special about it. I mean, it's a bright.
Okay, thank you.
You got number 5 handy, Sam?
There you go.
There we go.
5 again.
He's working on his blend still.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, that's gonna be.
Go ahead and I'll kind of water out here.
Thank you.
So to remind you, this is the 116.6.
I like the nose still.
This is the one I thought was going to be a surprise. It's going to be
like at first when we were trying it, like I was like, I don't know what's there, but now I get like some like dark cherries. There is a little bit of ethanol burn, but I think that you can expect that with 116.6, right?
Correct. It's 116.
Just a little bit of orange peel. Still solid. I think it's still solid. All right. Go ahead.
See.
Down the hatch here.
Down the hatch.
So it's got some linger. It's still there. Like it's still going right now. This one might be my new favorite. It's still got those rye characteristics, but it's not overly prominent.
Right.
It's still,
but they're definitely there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are almost some cocoa. Perhaps you getting any of that in there?
Cocoa? I don't know if I got cocoa. But then again, I don't have a flavor wheel in front of me. So I can be easily influenced. I don't know. Okay.
But like you said, that's definitely lingering, going on for days. So Matt that was looking for the ice cube, actually, I'm going to do this for you, Matt. I'm going to do a couple of drops just to see how it opens up. And
try to do that too.
All right.
Just for your sake and on the cube.
We gotta pull one here though.
Yeah. So
which one should it be?
We had already pulled 4. So now we've got 1, 3, and 5.
Okay. So 4 is, I agree. I think 4 is a good one.
4 is pulled. So now we have 1, 3. We have 1, 3, 5.
Yeah.
We got to pull one.
I think we need to pull one too. And man, okay, I'm gonna go against. I'm gonna try 1 again, but man, something tells me 5 might be it.
I think 5.
That's what I'm thinking too.
One as number 2.
Yeah.
Back up if Laura is gracious enough to take care of us, and maybe I put her on the spot live, a little bit.
There you go.
And say, hey.
Well, tell everybody who Laura is. So you're gonna hit this like 7,000 people. So make sure you really build her up.
So
here.
I will build her up. So she's my gal in San Diego that's from WhistlePig, has an amazing palate. She actually helped us do a barrel pick for our barrel bourbon. She was gracious enough to do that. So thank you. Don't tell your bosses you did that for me because they might be mad at you. But I had to coerce her, just so you're listening, or in case her bosses are listening. I had to coerce her to do that because we've always drank together and compared notes, and I respect her palate. and she is very good at it. So, and then with respect to WhistlePig, she's promoting it in San Diego and is their brand ambassador, and peddling it all over town, all over Southern California. So that's who she is, and she was the one that was able to make this happen for us, and had to go to bat for Keg and Bottle, and she did it, made it happen, overnighted it to us on short notice, and here it is.
Yeah, so thank you also to FedEx for making this happen really quickly, right?
Yes,
so
100%. So
somebody said they were like, they said they were like, you like number one the most. However, it's also the most full. They're like, well, how can so someone's paying attention. Somebody's paying attention to the video feed over here. They're like, you can't have the best one be the most full. So
right. So I'm texting her to see if we can bend her ear and get.
I think we could probably roll through 2. I'm 99% positive we can roll through 2 barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. Like, how often do you get the chance to be able to go through this and be like,
we should buy 2.
We should buy 2.
Like, because they're actually different. Good. They're actually very different. So you can almost buy, if you're listening to this, you can almost buy 2 and have 2 completely different profiles under the same, house. Do we agree? We want to take 3 out, or do you think?
Yeah,
we revisit.
I think. So we said 4 was out.
4's out.
4's out. Now we're down to 135.
135.
We're down to that.
And so, Matt, there was a couple of people that wanted the ice cube. My number 5 now has a few drops of water proportionate to what an ice cube would do to it, and it's still very nice and didn't break down. So I'm happy with that. Let me do that with number 1. Actually, let me revisit it without real quick.
So I'm doing number 1 right now, and I really like it now.
I do. That's bizarre that number 1 originally for us was we almost threw that out without giving it a chance.
Like I said, you just went in barrel proof, like hadn't drank anything all day, and you're like, here we go, 118 proof. Let's make it happen. And you end up just like saying like, oh, that wasn't probably the smartest idea, but.
So I just did the water on 1 as well, and it being 118, it stood up really, really good. In that it also did not break down to where some of these you do that and it's just you lose it all, know. And I'm still really happy with the taste profile with 1 as well.
Yeah.
And to be fair, before we throw 3 out, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
So let's revisit those each individually.
We'll do 3,
and then
right now I think 1 and 5 might be it, man.
Yeah.
It could be it.
Yeah, with 5 being number 1.
I mean, 5 for sure.
Yeah,
I'm just
and
not
Laura,
sure about
Laura,
I'm not sure about
we might need just the last little taste of.
Yes. This is 3. Mine's
Sorry,
3.
Laura. I mean, I know you wanted these back, but
here you go. That's 3 right here.
Yeah, she has to.
It's be a tough one.
Whoever said that we were going light on them, that's because she has to sell their other 3 barrel or 4 barrels to someone else.
So if you listen to last week's podcast, you know exactly how this game works, right? Yep. So you know that. We were lucky enough to actually get first crack at all 5 barrels. You heard those fresh cracks, right? Man,
so Laura,
that nose on 3 is still good though.
Laura, I know you're listening now because you're texting me. So I want to know, you told me yesterday you had a second set of these. So I want you to taste them and I want you to tell me between what I have left on 1. Actually, you're not going to know the numbers. So our 1 is barrel 2341. Our 5 is barrel 2360. And our 3 is barrel 2362. I'm curious to see how you did. Right? Put her to the test a little bit. And I want you to reply and tell me if I can have both, just in case 2 out of 3 of these, in case we can't decide.
Yeah. Well, so I think 1 and 5 are pretty close in profile.
Yep.
I think 3 brings that Booker's Rye-esque to it, where it's not very rye, right? Like if you put this in a lineup, you might confuse it for a bourbon.
Right. But do we want that for a rye?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like,
hey guys, buy my 113 proof rye from WhistlePig.
But it tastes like a
Booker's.
bourbon. Yeah, it tastes like a bourbon. But that's not a bad thing, right? I think it's something that's like definitely different.
Yep.
And so, like I said, I'm smelling it, and I'm smelling it like I don't get those dill, I don't get that pine, I don't get any of that, and I taste it, and I don't get any of that either, right? I feel like it's like a bourbon, it's like a Booker's rye, and so for me, like I would say this might be the number 2, and then we figure out 5 and 1, and then like this is like the also can we also maybe go ahead and just sprinkle a little like sure, we'll take that one too. So
go to number 3. Is that what you thinking?
For the second one, like the runner up, right? As in like something that's because for me, like don't get me wrong, like people love Booker's rye, right?
100%. I can't keep it on the shelf.
And the thing is that it doesn't taste like a rye. I think it tastes more in line with a bourbon. It's definitely, I don't know if it's the way it aged or the way it whatever, but it doesn't have a whole lot of dill and spice and like all that stuff that you would think of when you taste a rye.
You don't think they just put a rye label on it, do you?
You know what? You'd hope they wouldn't, right? I mean,
they would never do that. We love those guys over there. Got a lot of.
I think people that drink rye would love this because usually they drink bourbon, so this is going to be fair for people who love rye or bourbon. So,
and I will tell you, I did top off my number 3. it was tasted very nice. So I mean, and I did do the water on the finish.
All right.
So all 3 of them. So let's decide.
Make sure that if you're watching and you want something that's like Booker's Rye-esque, comment, because it'd be really good to know if that's like something that you would want as a possibly like a number 2 here.
Yep.
Because I think
number 5.
I think we'll probably want to. We're gonna end up buying 2 barrels. It'll happen.
Yeah,
she's not gonna say no.
She'll make it happen.
She's not gonna say no.
All right. Look, she just texted me back. So, she said, first of all, don't feel bad that you guys are 30 minutes in because it took her 2 hours to narrow this down.
Oh, that's easy. Right?
Okay. So she spent 2 hours doing this. She just gave me her number 1, 2, and 3 pick. And she also said, dun, da, 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 if you have to have 2, I will make it happen. Nice.
Congratulations. We get 2 barrels.
Two. All right. I like that. Good stuff, Laura. You are the best on that. She picked her number 1 was barrel 2341. Let's see what that is. 2341. 2341.
Right here.
Number one.
Number 1.
So that let's see if Laura's palate is going to influence us. Number 2, she picked 2360.
Which is that one? Number 5.
Number 5.
Wow.
Or kind of.
And number 3 was 2362. Holy moly.
Right there. 1, 2, 3, right?
Hey, listen, I say high five to that.
Yeah, right.
This was not set up, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you can see, this came in 11:32, 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's
also West Coast time, by the way.
West Coast time, yeah.
It's on Eastern.
Yes. Sorry, my phone's still San Diego time.
All right, so let's narrow that. I think
we got something's got to get pulled out.
I think 3's in, only because like it's just got that. It's got that Booker's Rye-esque to it that I think. Like a lot of people that are in the bourbon world, like they love, right? Like they love something that is a rye, but they're not rye drinkers, right? And this is something that is just like it's just that smooth curveball that you're just not going to expect.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we call it.
A smooth curveball?
Smooth curveball.
I love that one, actually.
All
right, so
we'll
go ahead. I'm going to write that down so maybe we'll forget that one.
Yeah, write it on the blue.
The sticker for this one is going to be smooth curveball.
Yep.
I'll say smooth curve because I don't have any room to write ball on there.
Yep.
All right, so now we got to go between 1 and 5.
1 and 5, which
is going to be tough.
Yep.
It's going to be real tough.
I don't want to send anybody home. Right. It's like one of those things where you what are those game shows where you got to send somebody home?
Yeah, well,
someone's got to go home.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so go ahead, get your glasses out. We'll hit 1 real quick.
Yeah, and
I'll tell you what. Let's get both your glasses out. We'll hit 1 and 5 right next to each other, and so you can nose one right next to the other. And
let's hit one right here.
right,
Thank you.
1 and 1
And 1.
1. Sorry, Laura. Whoever gets number 1 is gonna be really pissed because you're losing a lot in
Almost
the bottle
nothing
over
there,
there.
yeah.
So.
Number 5.
And it was the most full in the beginning.
Oh, they were awful in the beginning because
Yeah.
they were freshly cracked. So
Number 5.
it's good.
Take some of those.
All right.
Okay, here we go, guys. Final call. The number 2 position for this.
Well, it could be number 1, number 2.
Number 2.
There is no number 1, number 2 in this one.
No, it's second barrel.
All right. So already, I think 5 on the nose, only because 1 has that ethanol burn.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody else gets that, but 5 definitely doesn't have
Very
as
clear.
much.
Let's see on palate.
Okay. After doing all this, I'm just like, maybe 1's not impressive anymore. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, fine.
5 definitely stands out a little bit more for me.
Hold on. Don't influence me real quick.
Shit, I should have done that.
It's all good. Here we go.
We let the legs influence us.
Maybe. Did the legs influence anybody else? It'd be good to know like what your idea is as well.
So the legs on 1 is
1 just drips like
Yeah.
Again,
actually 5 is
Yeah.
giving you some legs as well.
a little bit, but still reminds me of New York City.
Again.
Yeah, I've got mine.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me.
I don't want to.
Don't influence yet.
Go.
Let's go. We're gonna
Let's
taste-
just put them on that paper. So
Nah, we'll just talk. We'll just
put
talk real
We'll
quick.
talk. Don't worry.
I'm not gonna say it. So I'll just put the number here, and I'll show it to the screen right away.
You guys are not fans of the first.
Jimmy's calling us out. He's like, "How you going back to number 1 when you threw it out?"
Well, no, because that was, like I said, you went in.
First one.
It was the first one. We hadn't tasted anything, especially a barrel proof at the very beginning. And we're like, well, I mean, and the thing is, and you start making the rounds here, it all starts tasting a little bit differently, especially as your taste buds become a little bit, I want to say more numb, but probably a little bit more coated. Coated is a better word, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I already select mine. I put it on a paper. I'm just not gonna say. I'm just gonna show it to the camera.
I'm done. All right, mine's 5.
Mine as well. Number 5.
Yep, and I'm gonna go with the boys.
All right,
5
so
it is.
number
There
5.
you
So
Awesome.
those are the 2 barrels that
we're
we're
doing.
going to be doing. So we got the opportunity. So man, we got to figure out a name for this one.
Yep, and I love what. Let's see who that was that said this. Chest or Chet? Can you see that? He says hanging curveball because those hanging curveball leads to home runs, baby.
All right.
So I like that
I like
on
that
number
one.
2. Number 5, I mean, number 5 stays alive. Number 5 was the one that gave us the legs.
Yep. Oh, I like legs.
I mean,
the
legs.
I'm
the legs
sure there's somebody out there who can make a sticker with like a girl like showing some legs or something like
showing some legs. And let's see who we got. That's Matt. And Matt was all about, and then Matt was also the one with the ice cube, I believe. So
that. Right.
Legs and ice or icy legs.
Ooh. Yeah, because
So-
I think you could probably make something that's kind of unique out of icy legs.
You know,
I like
So,
that one. I
you
really
know,
like that one.
frosty, icy.
Frosty legs, icy legs. What do
So
you,
we-
what do you
we
like?
need-
Frosty
we
legs
need-
or
we
icy
need-
legs?
Icy legs, I think it
Icy
sounds
legs.
better. Yeah.
All right,
That
icy
sounds
legs.
better.
It is.
Icy
Easy.
legs.
Who we got? We got ZZ Top Legs, New York City Slicker. He's sticking with your New York City.
Yeah, I know, right?
New York City
Yeah, I know. Well,
icy.
yeah, because New York City was like my windshield wiper comment, right? But gentlemen, this was fun, right? So we
It
came
was.
with 2 barrels, which is great, because we thought we were going to only do one, and we're like, fuck it, we'll just buy 2, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wasn't intending on doing that. So what are you going to do?
Don't worry. So this will be out to everybody that's a Patreon subscriber. You will be able to have the opportunity to buy these buy these bottles.
Yep.
Here in, it'll probably be, let's be honest, 3 months, 4 months, something like that.
We'll keep you posted on that.
That's typically how it works, right? You gotta have time to go through the communications process. You got the bottling process. You got the shipping process. So make sure you go. You subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/Bourbon Pursuit. And also, this is all possible because of this guy here to my right, Tony. Tony is the one making this possible. So go and check out his store. If you're in the SoCal area, Keg and Bottle. If you are not, guess what? He also ships. So kegendbottle.com, K-E-G, the letter N, bottle.com. He's got a lot of shit on his website. So what is it, like 700 whiskeys you can ship nowadays or something like that?
So we're getting more. So that's what I have available on the site. So if there's something you're looking for, call the number on the website, because there's a bunch of stuff that isn't on the website yet. Some of the harder stuff to get, we have, and we kind of reserve for special customers. And you guys have heard of all the different aspects of how this happens online and in stores. So yeah, we'll be happy to take care of you. We build everything. I was shopping today and did some damage here locally and bought some stuff that I can get because I want my back wall to look like this, you know.
He was buying New Riff. I saw some Boone County 12 years. He was buying all kinds of stuff around here.
Yeah,
so yeah.
So I was doing some of that for my personal collection, of course, right? And then so yeah, just hit us up. We'll be happy to take care of you and love building our whole bourbon community, because it's become quite the small. I mean, as large as our community is, it's really a small world.
It really is.
You know, so happy to be part of it and make it happen for everybody. And thanks to the guys at Four Roses, we drank the 130th anniversary yesterday. Got my bottle. And
it was great.
Right? How delicious was that?
Yeah, it was like different, unique.
Yes.
A lot of fruits and.
Yes, and it's definitely so. If you get a chance,
it's just like a good Four Roses.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to crack yours yet?
Four Roses.
Tell you what, I've got a sample bottle around here somewhere. It's somewhere around here somewhere. I don't know. I've actually haven't got around to it. So, but so Tony's got one more thing he has to show you before that we sign off here, because he's got, like we said earlier, there's a lot of local pride that goes into just the bourbon business in general. So for anybody that's in Kentucky, make sure you support New Riff and Rabbit Hole and all these people that are around that are in your backyard, because what's happening right now is that we've got San Diego whiskey that's going to start creeping up on us, right?
Which Kenny's not a big fan yet.
I was not a big fan. I said
not of San Diego, just in
we haven't had a chance to
general.
try yet. We haven't tried it.
He's kind of partial to Kentucky, so I wrap these. This is how we typically wrap stuff. We'll put a little saran wrap to make sure you don't lose any juice when we ship it. So this one is very unique. This
is the peanut butter one.
This is a peanut butter whiskey, folks. This is from a buddy of mine who owns a restaurant in town that sells more peanut butter shots than anyone in the world. Finally figured out how to.
I mean, I understand. Like, who comes with the idea of like, I got to get a peanut butter shot? But because the thing is that if I came up with a peanut butter shot, I'd be like, we got to come up with a jelly shot then too, right? Like you got to have two. So
I'm gonna crack this and have you taste this. So
I can't wait.
And the phenomenon, I was telling him, give this a year, maybe 2 years. 2 years time, this will be hotter than Fireball, like as in selling more cases than Fireball. I'm gonna put my name to that. All right. So
if you can short sell a stock,
yes,
now's the time.
So Steve is the owner of this. I'm trying to buy stock in this company. So Steve, I want shares. Okay, I want it now before you get too big. So it's called Screwball Whiskey. All right, and it's made in San Diego.
And this is a peanut butter whiskey.
And all my folks on the Four Roses limo bus tonight are going to be drinking this because I bought a bottle for them as well.
So for all the geeks out there, make sure you read the label, and so they know that like it says like flavorings added and colors added and like all that sort of stuff, right? So they know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, it's not a whiskey.
Holy shit! It smells like peanut butter.
Yeah. So this is like, since we just had our main course, this is dessert. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a way to finish off the.
So this is an opportunity to be able to look at it. So for anybody that's interested, so as he said, this is his idea. He thinks this is going to go bigger than Fireball. So I guess sell your Sazerac stock now, and you want to invest here.
He's not taking investors. This guy's doing it. He's the real deal. He owns this restaurant, but he's going full board with this.
So then you buy like 90 bottles. And then you just hold on to them. I'm just kidding.
They're actually like
you never do that.
It's super inexpensive. They're $21 on our website.
Right. And but this is also 70 proof. So 35%. It's so also tell me about the label, because you see OBCA. You were telling me about that earlier.
Yeah. So OBCA, OB is a super cool coastal town in San Diego. It stands for Ocean Beach. Everybody there very free spirited, great people. And he has his OB Noodle House, right? And OB's been there for a super long time. He's a staple, his restaurant is. And I want to say he sells like 400 shots of this. I
think you need to get some history to this, because it doesn't do it justice just to bring out a whiskey that tastes like peanut butter and be like, here, drink it, right? Like tell the history of like, because you were telling me earlier, like it was started by this guy, he was making some stuff, and then he said like, oh my God, like I can't believe it's selling, like whatever. Like, so talk about the history of just that, of how it became to be in a bottle now.
So, if you're doing peanut butter, you can't really sustain peanut butter in a bottle, right? So you put it in there, it's gonna separate, because they had the shot. They have a creamy version of this. So when I first tried this at his place,
did they have a nutty version?
They absolutely.
Did they really? Okay, my gosh.
No, they've got all kinds of little versions of it.
They have a Peter Pan, I guess.
But they were able to make it basically last in a bottle. They figured out the way to create the essence of the peanut butter to come right through. They designed it. They engineered it. They were able to sustain the taste and for it not to go bad or anything in the bottle. If you have a peanut butter allergy, it won't affect you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, which was very interesting. And this happened to the most nicest guy that worked really hard. Their family immigrated here to the U.S. and started off. They had a donut shop. They had a noodle shop, and they just worked hard. And tell me what you taste.
It's like a fucking peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And maybe even a little bit of jelly in there if like you really think about it.
No, I'm telling you, this is money. This is like smooth drinking. Like this, how Fireball took over for Jaeger. Jaeger was the call shots in the whole bar scene. And I used to sell hundreds. So I've got 2 college market stores, San Diego State and UCSB. And we sold hundreds of cases of Jaeger. When Fireball came about, Jaeger went down to very, very small percentages, and Fireball just took over, right? And now with this stuff, I can't keep it on the shelf.
Really?
I can't keep it on the shelf.
The thing
and no one even. So,
are people? They're probably not pointing at Glen Cairns and be like, oh
no, they're not. I'm getting some essence of peanut.
Yeah,
some essence of butter.
Like how weird.
Some peanut butter. No,
it's
like they're just
because
it's a different market, guys. It's a $20 bottle.
It literally says whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color, right? So anybody that's a whiskey snob out there, at least they disclosed it, right? But they've added all these flavorings to it, and honestly, it tastes like fucking peanut butter.
Oh, you have one shot in the breakfast before you go work.
Oh yeah,
nice, right?
Instead of having a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So one of our places has a restaurant and a bottle shop together, and we have the ability to taste people and stuff. And so, how if I'm ever there, I'll take them around. And this is, by the way, super new. This has only been on the market several months. Okay, super, super young and in infancy, very new. And long story short, I'll take them out for dessert around to this stuff. And without fail, there's 4 people there. They'll take 4 bottles home.
I mean, I could easily see this as like so my wife, she loves like peanut butter cakes, like Buckeye cakes and stuff like that, where it's just like very peanut butter heavy.
Yeah.
This is an easy sell. Like she would totally eat this up, especially something that's just like you just sit down like afterwards and you just drink it. Just so nonchalantly, casually, whatever.
You and I wouldn't be able to like kill a bottle.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
It's not that kind of thing.
Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, pour me some more. Like I'm not gonna say that. But I mean, like I think it's really
can be creative with it.
it's interesting.
Actually, I've been talking to my bosses in one warehouse to get this brand in, and it's kind of
Good luck. Everyone's trying to grab it.
Probably Tony has some magic. He can just throw some magic on it.
But to Kenny's point, if you were to go to a party, right, go to someone's house, instead of bringing a bottle of wine, you bring something unique like this, everybody would love you.
Yeah, it's
they would be like, oh my gosh, that's great.
I mean, so, at 35% alcohol too, so you know that it is flavor heavy, right? Which is actually way more than Fireball, which because Fireball is what 80 proof, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very flavor heavy, but it's something unique, right? It's
very unique. But I do not want to sell short my guys that do awesome other stuff in San Diego. So I want to spend 2 more minutes with that. Is that okay?
We've got time.
We've got time.
We're still live. We're still live.
We're still live, and we still have
16 viewers.
Yes, so that's okay because much more people will watch us. So this is San Diego Distilling. This is my boy Trent. He's out of San Diego as well. He is an awesome distiller. Like his stuff. I brought you his rye.
Cool.
He has a single malt. He's got a bourbon, and
I'm going to remove the peanut butter one, so make sure we don't taint it.
Yes, we might have just wrecked our palates. So
maybe.
Let's do a little water.
Maybe I was like, you know what? At the end of the night, like, gosh, do I really want to eat a whole bag of Reese Pieces, or should I just have a drink of that? Right?
Yeah.
I think that's what you come away with.
That's what we have there.
Okay,
thank you very much.
I'm going to do this right here. And
so cheers to San Diego.
Back to rye,
I mean, obviously we could do a whole segment on San Diego, to be honest with you, but since we're in short order here, we might as well just.
Well, no, I mean, it's great. I mean, I think it's what San Diego has been doing is actually pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I followed the San Diego beer scene for a while. With AleSmith.
Sure.
Like there's some beers that come out from AleSmith, and I go fucking nuts over them. I really do. And thankfully, I've got Tony and some other guys that are in San Diego, and they can hook me up every once in a while. But the beer scene right there is blowing up. But it's good to see that there's also a craft scene that's also coming around from the whiskey side, and that's just one more indication that it's hitting nationwide. Because we've talked about some that are in New York and Illinois and now in California. So what was it? I think it was a few years ago, there were only like 48 craft distillers. And then today there's like 3,000.
The number is crazy.
It's continually growing. And so it's always good to kind of like branch out a little bit every once in a while, because don't be wrong. Like our fan base they're hardcore bourbon nerds, but also like very like Kentucky or like just very like what are those home states that are centric that have been doing it forever that have that pull, right? And so it's good to be able to try something new every once in a while and be able to like, hey, and so we can branch out to Canadian rye, right? We can branch out to San Diego rye. We can try to do these things and bring them to y'all too.
So that was my goal with bringing him and stuff. I was very selfish and had an agenda of bringing you those 4 or 5 goodies for you to try, and there's a bunch more. These came out of my collection as I was packing. I said I gotta take something for Kenny, so I brought him some goodies. So Trent, here's to you for making great juice in San Diego. Let's try this out.
Good. I'll get your opinion on this.
I want your opinion first because I don't want to be a bias.
Well, my opinion is that because this is a 2-year rye, 3-year, or not even. I don't think it's even that. It's
it's young.
It's young.
I think it's batch 2.
So I think we're less than 2 years because it doesn't say straight. So we're less than 2 years. But this is the thing that we're all experiencing even here in Kentucky, even with a lot of the new distilleries that are coming up, and they want to have some sort of presence in the marketplace. They also want to be able to make sure that their product is getting out there. But when people don't see the word straight, they have this hesitation. However, the one thing about rye whiskey is that it always is able to overcome that age statement, right? So even if you look at Peerless and Rabbit Hole and some other ones that maybe people have like negative connotations about, like you need to remove it, because the idea is that a lot of these places, like that rye whiskey is actually able to taste like actually really, really good, even at a year and a half, even less than that, right? And so with this one, it doesn't say it on there, but this is batch number 2. Mm-hmm. So you get an opportunity to try something that's pretty unique, right? And this is also 90 proof, so it's taken down a little bit probably from what it entered in the barrel.
Non-chill filtered.
But you can definitely, so you get 3 things out of here. One, you get a little bit of young, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're not gonna not expect that, right? Just having a young whiskey, like you're gonna have those grainy notes. 2, you do get that rye taste that we had talked about for the past hour and a half.
Yeah,
how long we've been on here. So you do get that. But 3, you also get opportunity to buy it in a 375.
Yes,
right?
And that's super huge. So 2 of the guys in San Diego are doing that, which for me as a retailer, in most of our stores, we don't have the ability to sample people on it, right? So this comes to you around $35, I want to say. And, we have the 750s at double that price, but do you really want to spend $70 on something, a shot in the dark?
Mm-hmm.
So unless someone's there that can really walk them through the experience of what this tastes like and the taste notes and stuff, it makes it hard to choose something like that. So having a 375 option is great.
And also now, if you're ever going to be at my bar anytime soon, this is going to be on tap for you. So you can come in, you can try it. And
that's right.
Now you have an outlet. If you're like, hey,
where
I can get behind these guys, right?
Where can I get this?
Yeah. And you're like, hey, keg and bottle.
Yep. So that's delicious juice. The next one I want you guys to try is Liberty Call. And that's what the bottle looks like. Also comes in 375s. If I get a little closer, you'll notice that it is handwritten. Let's see if it can focus.
It's handwritten. But the other thing is that this one, it's funny. I look at this. I look at it in 2 fashions.
Mm-hmm.
One, they did a great job on the label, because for anybody that couldn't see the label, is that there is a lot of information on there. I'm not really, but the information is on the label. But 2, the wax. The wax job just seems like it was I don't know, ho hum. It wasn't like totally like, it's not like Maker's Mark thought out, right?
Sure.
It's definitely like, looks like it's something that's just like, oh shit, wax fucking sells, let's do it, right?
Yep,
and so I already have my my bias, right? But
what do you got for me to open this with?
We got scissors,
let's see what we can do. I don't have a
but and by the way, thank you for the viewers that are still sticking around. If you have any more questions that you want to ask us while we're sitting here, just after we're done our barrel pick. So we've already got barrel number 3, which we're calling Smooth Curveball, which is 117.7 proof. That's going to come out. And then we've got barrel number 5, which we're calling Icy Legs. So Icy Legs is coming at 116.6. So we actually came here today thinking that we're only going to choose 1 barrel, but of course, when the opportunity presents itself and you're like, well, should we really give away the opportunity to buy 2 barrels? Like, no, we'll buy 2 barrels, right? So
make it happen.
Yeah. So we bought 2 barrels today, which is actually not too different than I've heard other people do it at WhistlePig, because it's just a good sourced rye whiskey that you're not gonna be able to get here in a few years, right? So I think it's
listen to this guy. Oh yeah,
there's another fresh crack.
Fresh crack. So try this. This comes from Spring Valley, San Diego, which is about 12 minutes east of downtown San Diego. My buddy Bill, who is not only a great person but a great distiller, and helping the whole San Diego craft movement. And let's see. No, so 90 proof, distilled from single malt mash, 100% barley. And he used whiskey casks.
Yep. So I would think, so everybody, Brews and Brews asked, where's Ryan? So Ryan is actually back in Bardstown today. We actually had a friend that has been deployed overseas for the past few years, and he just made his way back home. So there's a welcome home party back in Bardstown. So that's where he's at today. But anyway, back to the whiskey. This is kind of what I would expect from a young whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you can tell it's very young. It's very, this is just from the nose alone. Like I haven't even gotten into the flavor yet, but there's a lot of that ethanol.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other thing is that people got to get behind things in their backyard, right?
Yep.
So they got to
100%.
understand that, like, you need some champions, right? Like you always have to have those champions that are that live with you or around the area.
Mm-hmm.
Because not everybody is going to be able to pump out like 13-year MGP rye.
Oh yeah.
And think that like, oh, this is what they can always do. Like this is the greatest. Like no, like you've got to get behind these distilleries that live in your backyard and have a little bit of sense of pride and hometown ownership of all these too.
And Kenny's absolutely right on that, because the issue becomes, sourcing MGP right now, especially anything 8 years and north, is become quite expensive. So a lot of these folks have looked at that and as an option to buy that to come out right out of the gate, as we know some other people have done. And, some of these smaller guys are not going to have the ability to do that. So we're trying to support them along the way so that they can, obviously, as they're making stuff and aging it. You've heard other distillers say it's the most expensive business to get into, because you got to hurry up, distill it, and then wait.
Yep.
And then wait, right? And that's expensive. That's not an easy proposition to do if you got to wait 4 years, 5 years, 15 years before you turn around and sell something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so like you said, it is young, but I want to hear, I mean, is it something that you think would it be a good intro to someone getting into whiskeys and bourbons?
I'll tell you what, out of the first two we went with, I'm always going to go with this one right here.
Okay.
Because it has just a little bit more depth to it. It has just a little bit more, well, I mean, it's age, right? It has to be age because
From the coloring.
Well, from the coloring alone, I mean, like, if we can put it to the camera, like you can, here, I'll turn around, like, see, a little bit more difference in the age. And so I'm going to go here every single time. For me personally, that's just the way that I'm looking at it.
Yep. And I think they're both, again, when we start with people coming in and asking what's a good intro, most of them, to your satisfaction, want their Kentucky bourbon.
Well, that's actually the next question I was going to ask is, do your customers come in and have this like hometown pride and say like, oh, I want to only buy San Diego?
So they don't.
Whiskey? Or do they say like, I want Kentucky whiskey? Like,
so
what do
they
say?
come in having heard a podcast, having tasted something in a cool whiskey bar. 7 Grand's an awesome whiskey bar in town. And then wanting to be able to buy that, right? And then coming in looking for, some Henry McKenna, some Michter's, some Four Roses, all your everyday staples, right? But then, so we give them that, and we give them that at a great value, because your everyday stuff, I believe in getting it to you at a really good, fair price. But then I said, hey, as an add-on, drink local.
Yeah.
And I've got a whole local section. And once they hear that, typically the answer is, oh, shoot, I didn't know we had 14 distilleries,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I show them the space. I walk them through, figure out what their taste profile is like, and then put them into a couple of them. So there's a few more on that note. Without going too long, we'll try to go a little quicker. There's a few more that this one's called Perfect Soul. and also a little decent coloring on it. I've been talking to my boy about his packaging because I'm not a big fan of his packaging, you know. But
you don't have to call him out right now.
I'm going to call him out. That way he
go.
goes and makes it look a little more like some of our craft. Because again, he's a craft distiller. To me, I'm not getting craft from looking at this, right? So I think on the packaging it makes a big difference because guys, in most of the places, like I said, in bottle shops, you can't taste,
right?
You know, and when you can't taste.
Oh, there it is. There's the pop.
Then you can't judge based on that. So here's a little something just to wet your whistle and give you some more exposure to San Diego. Sam, here you go, my friend.
And so anybody that's joining us right now, we are in the what you would call maybe the after show, right?
Yes.
We are in the part where Tony has been kind enough to be able to bring a bunch of San Diego and local whiskeys here for us to try here in Kentucky because we've chosen 2 barrels. Yeah, it actually was pretty hard. We had to choose 1 barrel out of 5. Well, we wanted it for our Patreon subscribers, and guess what? We just said, like, you know what?
It's very smoky.
We'll just buy 2. We'll just buy 2. So anyway, we've had a few things so far. So we've had 2 or 3 from local San Diego series. We've had the peanut butter bomb, like
bomb.
There's no other way to describe it. It's just the peanut butter bomb, right?
Yeah.
And so we've had all these. Plus, we're drinking this one right here, which was the Perfect Soul.
Perfect Soul. So
I guess Tony, give me and Sam, you can chime in too. So listen, we've got a very savvy community, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got people that are they say like Kentucky or get the fuck out. Like it's one or the other, right?
Literally, by the way.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And so you've got this idea that you can only have solid bourbon made in Kentucky, or you can only do this. But talk about what it is to actually have a little bit of either local pride or to be able to say, like, listen, like we're going to be able to stand behind this for the next like 4 years until we look at it and say, like, guess what? Like, I think we have a solid product now, rather than saying like, you know it better than anybody else, right? You put out a product that's so anybody that doesn't know, so Tony at a Keg and Bottle, San Diego, this is how our barrel picks are happening. And so he knows the retail market inside and out. So if it's not Kentucky, like how well is it selling? Like how well can you do unless you just like hype the shit out of it? Like what can you do?
So no one really outside of San Diego, not too many outside of friends and family are rushing to buy this from us.
Well,
right?
So
that's a given.
We'll branch it out beyond the brand. Just in regards of just San Diego whiskey as a category. So how do you make that a national thing?
So I think it's happening. I think it's happening one person at a time. So, what's nice for all of our distillers in San Diego is we're piggybacking off the success of the San Diego beer scene. So, as many of you know, the San Diego beer scene started about 25 years ago with pioneers in Stone, Ballast Point, all Green Flash. All of our guys, you mentioned Alpine and earlier, and who else did you mention? AleSmith, I believe.
AleSmith.
So all those guys.
I'll tell you what. There is no better beer that comes out of the world, maybe the world, but at least out of the United States and in San Diego. So and they put out the best barrel aged beers I've ever had.
Absolutely,
it's amazing. So, it's even better than the Kentucky breweries.
So I'm glad he said that, because on that note, our good friends over from Ballast Point, who are millionaires now because they sold their company for $1 billion, and they were gracious enough to share that with their employees. There's a bunch of millionaires now that own a company called Cutwater. They're kind of paving the road for these smaller guys to not just nationally but internationally create a San Diego presence for spirits. So I've got batch ones. They do a single malt, they do a whiskey, they do barrel aged rums. Their big thing right now is their can line. I've got 14 different pre-made spirit cocktails. They're not based on malt or beer or anything like that. They're actually spirit based in a can, ready to drink. Awesome.
It's kind of like Australia, because that's what Australia does, right?
Yeah.
They do the pre-made bourbon and cokes.
Yeah. So this is that similar thing. And I was just talking to the Yusuf, the distiller, and a couple other guys from the company, and they were just telling me the success of it all. And Shad was in the store the other day, making sure we had every single SKU, in all of our locations, and beautiful to see the success. And kudos to you guys for helping pave the way for the smaller guys, because to your point, how does this go nationally? And it goes by someone large like that. Fortunately, they did it once with the beer side, and now they're going to do it again with the spirit side. So the back side of the story goes, they sold it to a very big company, but the original guys, the core guys, are now millionaires, and now they started the spirit side. They continued the spirit side. They had the spirit side going all along, and they are blowing up. I mean, their stuff is high quality, delicious juice, and they have all the contacts nationwide already from their Ballast Point contacts, and so that's how they're getting into these other markets, right, from the spirit side of things. Now, having said that, enter all these other small guys, and who are going to ride on the coattails of Cutwater, right?
They always say everybody rides on the shoulders of giants, right?
Yeah. And honestly, and the guys at Cutwater have been super, super supportive in helping all these guys. So when we have our Meet the Distillers events at our KMB, which is our hybrid of restaurant / bottle shop, Ballast Point shows up. They don't need to. They're not going to make any money or get any extra exposure, but they do it because they're featuring their brands and they're helping out these small guys. Perfect. So that's huge. And kudos to the guys over at Cutwater, Yusuf, the master distiller, and Earl Kite, who's made that brand blow up, and Jack White, who was original founder of Ballast Point and with Cutwater now. So all those guys have made a huge difference in making that happen. So to answer your question, that's how it's going to happen. And with you guys out there,
it goes yes, right?
Yeah,
it's always yes.
It's always yes.
All right.
Especially back to this bottle right here. I mean, we was talking about the label, but I mean, the bottle is amazing, especially if they give you that Scotch, beaded mezcal taste. It's kind of unique. It's not bourbon or whiskey, but it's good.
We'll do one more.
We'll do one more, then we got to go.
I was looking at trying to sign off, but you know
can't
what?
Sign off.
We will.
This is my buddy Tony from Malahat Brewing, from Malahat Distilling.
We've got to do at least one more bourbon until we sign off. So,
yes, we'll sign off after this one.
So
Although
we'll
there's
do
a few more brands in San Diego, we will sign off after this one.
No, it's okay. We got 14 viewers on. They're interested in what we have to say. I think so. Maybe. You should have Jeremy Mandel on this podcast. So we've had, if you're talking about Mandel, we're talking about Barstown Bourbon Company. We've already had him on, but we're looking to do it again. So that's that one.
Yep.
But in regards of like this bar, like we're actually running out of space to actually play stuff right now.
This is for you, my friend.
There you go. You take that one.
Let me get you a freshie then.
Great.
Yeah, I'll take a fresh one.
There you go. So if you're wondering what we're going to be doing next, we're going to be washing a lot of dishes because I don't want to upset.
Well, no. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
So Sereno Valley, San Diego, which happens to sit about 15 minutes north of downtown San Diego.
I like this one more than the other one.
Guy named Tony.
How weird. Is everybody is every gangster mob guy
right?
in the valley called Tony? Is that what it is?
That's why I left him for last.
Yeah. No, okay. Okay.
No, good stuff. So he does a bourbon. He does a rye. They do some amazing rums, a couple different flavored of rums, and I know that's becoming a hotter issue. This is 100% rye. So I brought you that for you to enjoy, and so there we are.
So
we have a special appearance. Special
anyway,
guest.
Sorry, I know we're way past our recording hour, but my daughter just felt like showing up. So she's gonna here. Let's turn around.
Turn around and say hi.
Turn around the other way. We'll get around you. Can you say hi? Did you see yourself on camera? No, look this way. You see yourself on camera? Mm-hmm. Can you say hi to the world?
Hi, world.
Say hi, world.
They gotta hear your voice.
Come on, Stella. Okay.
Stella's super cute.
You're gonna be weird. All right. Hey, few minutes and I'll come help you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So Tony, let me tell you, this is tasting delicious.
Okay.
So that's great stuff.
Few minutes.
What do you think, Sam?
That's very good. I mean,
so are you gonna look at and put it against the other ones, or are you gonna say?
Well, that Perfect Soul had, like Sam was saying, was very smoky, different taste profile, almost like a single malt kind of.
Single malt give you that some
that
mezcal,
almost peatiness to it, smoky
exactly.
peatiness, to it, which was weird.
It's different.
And where this is more true to
in bourbon
to form.
Oh yeah, I don't need more drinks. We're good. John, no, I'm good, buddy.
Telling you have another.
Oh yeah, gotta keep it chill right now. I gotta take these guys back to the hotel later.
I know
they've got a
night of drinking.
They got a whole night of drinking in front of them for
the
gala. So
yep. So
I like this.
It's very good.
It's very what is this the
This is
it's called Malahat.
Exactly, Malahat.
Okay, so Malahat Spirits Company.
Yep.
So
They do have some decent rum too, right? Very good rum.
Some great rum. They're actually known for the rums, but
it's just very solid, right? Like
it's
you're
a solid
not
go-to.
I mean, you're not gonna look at me like, oh, I gotta have it, but I mean, for the most part, like it's just a solid drinker, right? Yep. So I think it's a good one.
I agree. And with that, I think if you can support the San Diego brands, they're on our website as well. It's unique. It's different. Someone was talking about unique. They are young.
Yes,
they are young.
I mean, but don't be wrong. Like I think. So here's the weird thing, right? Is that I've also got a theory. This is the first time you hear this theory. Is that everything comes from grassroots.
Mm-hmm.
Everything does. And that if you don't support what's in your backyard, it's never going to survive.
It won't.
Right? And so the only reason that Kentucky bourbon of these smaller distilleries or San Diego or Texas or Florida, like you put it on the map, it doesn't matter where the fuck it is. The only reason they're going to survive is by brand loyalty and by having some sort of pride that's built into what they're actually distilling, what they're doing, but more important of what their future is. So it's actually a great opportune time for a lot of people to sit there and say like, hey, like, guess what? I see the opportunity. I see the resemblance of what this can become. So put your name behind it. Go buy some bottles. Go do whatever it is that you need to be able to do, and it'll help support these distilleries. Because at the end of the day, I think if you look back 20 years from now, like, well, not from now, but go ahead, 20 years, maybe 15, whatever it is. But you look back, those who are the distilleries are going to make it, because they're the ones that have the fan base, they have the people behind it, they've got the ones that are intrigued. 100%. And that are, their whiskey keeps behind it, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, they are your social, like, mascots, or they're your social, like, whatever. Like, they're the ones getting your message out there, right? So
100%. So I agree with Kenny on that 100%. Support them. I'm pushing San Diego, but, if you're a small distiller anywhere in the nation, reach out to me. I'll give you my email. We'll maybe have it in the notes, and let me know. I'll be happy to help you push yours nationwide with all of our distribution channels. And these are just the ones that had whiskey and bourbon, and I brought you that. But there are several other ones that do vodka. I brought a special bottle of vodka for Fred because I know that's his jam.
Fred loves vodka.
And then gin, there's a gal from You and Yours that she was voted top 30 under 30 by Forbes magazine. Awesome gin. Bunch of other vodkas and rums, and Jeff from Seven Caves. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I could go on and on. But the point is, like Kenny's saying, support your small guys no matter where you're at. And like you said, give them a chance to make it. Give them a chance to make it to 7, 8, 10 years, so they can have some stuff that they've aged that's amazing and awesome. And support your small guys. I absolutely still do the big companies, and that's my 2 cents. I agree with you on that, and that's what we've done. We did that with the beer scene early on, and it made it. Fortunately for them, they don't have to age it so long, so we're going to have to support these guys for, like you said, 10, 15 years, help them make it, and they will. They will, and we're going to help them do it one bottle at a time.
Absolutely. Sam, anything else we can close out on, or I'll close it out for us?
Actually, I just want to, appreciate everybody who's been watching us, and thank you for, for all that time you spent with us, helping us select those barrels, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. So thank you for everybody that's been on here for probably way too long for us to just sample through like 5 barrels. Like, you're probably like, oh, what's it going to take? Like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes? Probably close to 2 hours. But anyway, thank you so much for joining in. Make sure if you do like the show, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Bourbon Pursuit, because that is the only place that you're going to be able to get both of these barrels, thanks to Tony over here at Keg and Bottle. So thank you so much for both of you all coming here, being a part of this. And with that, we're going to see you all relatively soon.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheerio.
All right. Just close the broadcast.